I think we need to move on to the next sessions, but
muchísimas gracias. Creo que tenemos que pasar a la...
and the next session is about creating synergies towards new EU-LAC research infrastructure partnerships. In this session, we have 3 speakers. The first speaker is Dominik Sobczak, who is the Executive Secretary of ESFRI, the European Strategy Forum on Research Infrastructures. So basically the entity which is in charge of the European roadmap for research infrastructures. And Dominik is at the European Commission in the DG Research and Innovation, and in particular in the Research Infrastructure Unit. Thank you for joining, Dominik.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Bane. Well, I hope that now somehow my connection issues have sorted out themselves.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
And we will have an opportunity actually to share some views on the broader context. Now, this might actually not have played so badly because in the end, I think it was very useful to listen to the presentations of the 2 projects, because I would like to take a little bit of a step back and give you a broader context for collaboration, international collaboration in research and innovation for the next years. And this is related to the fact that just a few weeks ago, and let's see now if the slides change. Yeah, they do. Okay, wonderful. All seems to be under control. Just a few weeks ago, the Commission has published a communication on global approach to research and innovation, which sketches out our strategy for engaging with international partners. And this communication will lay the ground for our discussions with the different partners on different topics over the next year. So I think it's useful to actually share some insights from the document. So we define 2 main aims for the global approach to research and innovation from the side of the Commission. First of all, to preserve openness in research and innovation international cooperation and promote a level playing field, as well as reciprocity underpinned by fundamental values in research and innovation. And the second aim is to strengthen specific multilateral partnerships to deliver solutions to the main challenges that we are facing across the world, like climate crisis, of course, the digital transition, or the health challenge that we have been all exposed to over the last already almost year and a half. So how do we want to achieve that? First of all, we want to have a modulated bilateral cooperation based on common interests and values, both from the side of Europe and our international partners. We would definitely like to accelerate sustainable and inclusive development, and we would like to focus our cooperation with our global partners on these shared goals. And internally, we will try to reinforce what we call a Team Europe approach. So using all kinds of instruments and institutions and organizations that we have in Europe to foster our collaboration with the partners across the world. From the point of view of commitment to openness and values, this is actually quite important to us, because we have been when we observe the global landscape, we know that there are different practices, there are different principles based on which science operate. So openness is crucial for us to accelerate scientific progress and also to pull resources, nurture ecosystem. At the same time, we believe that researchers and innovators should be free to operate, and we have a supportive environment based on values and principles, such as academic freedom, research ethics, and the respect of human rights. For the European partners that are around the room, probably you are aware of the fact that we are currently working under the framework of the new European Research Area on the Pact for Research and Innovation, where an important part will actually be dedicated to setting out common values and principles of doing research and innovation in Europe. At the same time, we believe that cooperation in research and innovation should meet the demand and interest of both sides. So both the EU, individual European countries and individual organizations, as well as partner countries and partner organizations. So it should be really common benefit. We would also like to develop principles, certain principles for international cooperation in research and innovation with the member states and promote them in different dialogues that we have with third countries and in different international contexts. One of the important issues that drive our strategy for international cooperation in research and innovation is the need to pull forward global level to tackle some of the major challenges. These challenges that face us currently are, most of them, the most important ones, are generally global in nature. So everyone is co-responsible, everyone should be part of the solution, and therefore we need a global effort to address them. And at the same time, we need to pull all kinds of resources that we have, knowledge, technology, human resources as well, and financial resources to actually tackle effectively the challenges that we are facing, such as pandemic, climate change, or biodiversity crisis, as I mentioned earlier. What we would like to do from the European side, from the side also of the European Commission, is to facilitate bringing countries together in different multilateral partnerships, especially focused on looking at these key issues that we have at the global level right now. The important part of the strategy is a modulated cooperation with third countries and with different world regions. Modulated means it should be based on mutual interests on the side of the EU, on the side of our partners, but also sufficient for us levels of reciprocity. So we would like to have these partnerships to be a little bit more strategic than maybe we've had in the past. We would want to promote the respect of fundamental rights and shared values, also through the international collaboration in research and innovation. So we have kind of three groups of countries that we identify in this modulated approach. First of all, industrialized countries and emerging economies. Second of all, countries that are in the near neighborhood of the EU, Norway and Iceland, and these are the EFTA countries, Western Balkans, Turkey, and the European neighborhood in general, as well as the UK that left the EU. And the third category are the broader world regions, such as Africa, Latin America, as well as other regions and countries. And we would also like to design, together with our partners, different initiatives that would support low and middle income countries that would like to wish to upgrade the research and innovation ecosystem. And from that point of view, I think that the collaboration that we right now have with you, with Latin America, is a very important element of that. From the point of view of concrete actions that we plan to develop bilateral research and innovation roadmaps with priority partners outside of the EU. One roadmap that we would like to develop is the one with China. We do have a strategic roadmap with the Central and Latin American countries, which we discussed and described also earlier, with 4 lines of cooperation. And here I will focus a little bit more on research infrastructures in the next slide. And we would like to develop some supporting measures for the dialogue between the EU and ASEAN. We will start implementing this strategy very soon, or we could say that we already started the first step to implement it. And we expect to have a first progress review towards the end of next year. Now, from the point of view of implementing the roadmap between the EU and Latin America for the next 2 years, and in the field of research infrastructures in particular, this is certainly one of the central fields of collaboration with I think, very substantial common benefit, because together we can create capacities in different parts of the world to deal with the different challenges that we are facing. We see that there have already been important achievements through the working group, through the 2 projects that were described more in detail earlier today. We developed a common understanding of the concept of what the RIs are and how we understand research infrastructures in Europe and in Latin America. We have managed to facilitate the discussion between us and also to better understand the common challenges and also maybe some gaps. I think we've managed also to establish an effective discussion platform to foster the dialogue on potential joint activities. There are the pilot projects right now that we can explore. And I think that this is a very good start for further collaboration in many other areas as well. The project RI-VIS also developed very concrete recommendations on how to facilitate the partnership, which I think are also very useful and should be seriously taken into account when we are discussing the next step or any follow-up action to what we have right now to foster our dialogue. I think we need to strengthen, continue strengthening our ties within the implementation of the roadmap and within the activities that we are already rolling out, learn from each other better, and explore also new promising areas of collaboration. And I think that here there are very significant opportunities linked to the peace research infrastructure that Europe has prioritized through the ESFRI process and through the ESFRI roadmap. Out of the 4 pilot cases, 3 are from the ESFRI roadmap. And there are also a number of other research infrastructures which have already been exposed to the dialogue between us and the Latin American countries. I think there are a lot of opportunities here as well to explore other fields and potential of collaboration in other fields beyond that we have already launched. And just to conclude very briefly, 2 slides on Horizon Europe. Well, as you know, we have and actually formally adopted just very recently the new framework program for research and innovation in Europe, which we call Horizon Europe, which is the follow-up of Horizon 2020 with a slightly different architecture, a slightly different narrative. We again increased substantially the level of funding for research and innovation at the European level from a bit more than 70 billion euro for 7 years of Horizon 2020 to more than 90 billion euro of Horizon Europe for the next 7 years starting this year. At the same time, it's actually the most internationally open research program in the world where anyone can participate, any entity from anywhere in the world. There is also a strengthened possibility of associating to the program for countries that are outside of Europe and outside of our immediate neighborhood, which is a novelty of Horizon Europe, which can be interesting for some countries. We would definitely like to use it also to accelerate sustainable development everywhere in the world, and that includes also the lower and middle income countries. And we have strategically targeted actions, or we plan to have strategically targeted actions with different world regions and with different countries that would underpin the global approach communication that I was discussing a bit earlier. At the same time, safeguarding the EU interests. And just a snapshot of the architecture. The architecture is a little bit different than the one of Horizon 2020. And you probably, many of you might not know the architecture of Horizon 2020. I will not go into the details of this architecture either. Basically, we have 3 pillars: excellent science, global challenges, and industrial competitiveness, and innovative Europe. Under the excellence science pillar, we have a program on research infrastructures, which of course is in the focus of today's discussion. And I think that there in this program, there will be also growing opportunities to engage internationally also with Latin American countries. The big focus and the large chunk of the resources that we intend to invest in research innovation is in the global challenges and Europe industrial competitiveness, what we call the clusters. And in these 6 clusters, I think are also a significant opportunity for international collaboration, where on each of those issues, there are, I think, many ways in which international partners will be able to work with European partners on research and innovation activities. And we have a 3rd pillar, which is significantly more focused on EU itself, which is Innovative Europe, which will dedicate most of its resources to supporting European enterprises for scaling up and moving from research outcomes to market solutions or to new products. And we also have some further schemes to widen participation within the EU, because we also have quite a lot of diversity within the EU, and we would like those countries that perform slightly well in research and innovation to upgrade. So thank you very much. for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. If you have any questions, of course, I will be happy to reply. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominik, for the presentation, and it's great to see the action to implement the EU-LAC strategic roadmap, and also the overview of the Horizon Europe program, where I think there are some opportunities also to support regional cooperations between research infrastructures. So thank you very much for your presentation. And in the interest of time, I need to close this session. So I'm again thanking all three speakers of this session, and also thanking everybody for submitting questions. We will take some of these questions also to the panel discussions tomorrow and on Thursday. And also we ask the speakers to answer some of these questions which have been submitted in the UVA platform and to answer them directly there. So with this, I'd like to close the session. Thanks again to the speakers. And now I hand over to the chair of the